Hi, I'm gonna do a video reflection on the BCD assignment, so here we go. The role that I assume when talking with residents is definitely a facilitator. As a rest staff, you definitely want to talk to the residents individually before you have a dialogue together with both residents. My goal is to support and affirm each of their concerns through active listening, encouraging more questions and concerns that they have before I know the full story. Next is what happens in a situation when I would have a better relationship with one resident than the other. Therefore, that's why I would want to talk to them individually, not to have a biased outlook, but be really true to myself with the leadership that I have as a rest staff, to have no biases and just plainly look at it as two residents that are having a conflict that they both want to resolve. And what specific questions could you ask each roommate? When they're together, encourage them to share perspective, experience, produce discussion, reflection by them. So specific questions that I would ask each roommate is, for roommate A, I would ask, how do you feel when roommate B is not talking in English in front of their parents? Kind of explain, because I'm bilingual, and sometimes I would understand how when you are sharing a room and you have to talk to about personal information to your parents, you kind of want to sometimes you don't want to share personal things in front of your roommate, so I can see how roommate B would be speaking in another language with roommate A, kind of get more of just that open-mindedness of how it could be not just a negative, where roommate B would not like roommate A. It's more of why, like other options on why roommate B would be speaking in another language in front of roommate A. There could be a lot of misconceptions, and roommate B may be trying to figure out why, like the true reason why roommate B isn't speaking in the same language, making it uncomfortable for roommate A, and possibly thinking of things like that A doesn't like B because B never engages with A. I would dive deep. I would definitely listen on and ask follow-up questions for each roommate, and then once I collected what they were both talking about individually, I would share the main points together, so it produces a therapeutic dialogue where we can all discuss definitely some certain conflicts and focus on how we can definitely understand one another with communication, and definitely ask the residents, the roommates, to ask each other questions as well. This would definitely be a direct intervention rather than delay, because it is something where both parties want to resolve this situation and conflict, and definitely from that we would definitely have a reflection, and then we can manage dynamics and logistically speaking find a resolution where both roommates understand each other's perspective and definitely improve their relationship, I feel like. Question 4, what aspects of the situation are a community issue, if any, or strictly an issue between two roommates? It definitely could be a community issue if roommate A just purely doesn't like it when roommate B is speaking in a different language, and that can be where again, like it could be something cultural, like maybe wants to continue talking to his parents in that language, and where it's very close to home to just speak to your mom in your in her native language. And definitely it can reach out to their and also, but mainly I think it's between two roommates right now, looking at the scenario. That's my thought on that. How might you utilize DPE in this situation? Definitely if it's a bigger concern, not just the communication with roommate A, DPE could definitely come in and also join in to the conversation where roommate A and roommate B are both educated about how there is diversity in this campus and how we have to understand how to include everyone, and again, having that conversation of how that looks like for both parties, like how they want it to look like. And I think definitely I see a lot of miscommunication and just community education on how there's different cultures, different languages, and reasons on why people want to speak in their second language or their native language, even though they're fluent. What parts of social identities do you have the most effect on your interaction with both residents? How will these identities impact your interactions? So definitely my identities will definitely take place when I talk to both residents. I definitely see my ethnic group and as Asian American, Korean ethnicity, on how I would kind of generate a discussion with that. I definitely can understand on why roommate B would be speaking in a different language to their parents, because in the Korean culture it's usually more respectful to speak Korean to your elders, so it's more of a respect. And usually when I'm talking to my mom, I update her about like personal things, so maybe roommate B is doing similar in a similar manner, where roommate B is talking to their parents on a personal matter that roommate B wouldn't want roommate A to know about yet, or at all. Yeah, I definitely, as a female, I definitely can take that into consideration as well. If they were both, since I would assume that it'd be both female, unless I'm co-ed, but just taking time to understand. I would definitely use my identities into the with my interactions, but also allow both residents to explore their identities to see how we can just really use certain identities to help each other out. And then how am I active listening and generative listening involving? Definitely there's definitely active listening involved, where we just listen and allow that one person to say what they want to say as an open dialogue without anyone interrupting, in a sense. I would definitely encourage that with both residents, and I think with that can really help with the possible miscommunication. And logistically, after the dialogue, we would take next steps to maybe have a home meeting on more of with the DPE on diversity, equity and inclusion, maybe like a meeting on that, because it could be a community thing as not just roommates. And it's good to always just educate the public and residents on different identities and the importance of feeling safe and feeling welcomed in a community. Yeah, so I would go from there, first dialogue, and then maybe plan something overall for the hall. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day.